highlights what machinima looks like in that context.
Well, will I plant in the dry soil that we have got? Because we are only getting a few showers coming through at the moment. They think it is going to rain, but we don't seem to get much out of it.
Well, I'm going to plant on dry soil. I am banking on a bit of winter rain.
SOI is dropping. I think it is a bit dangerous.
I think you get the idea of what we're doing here is creating in Second Life an environment which the farmers can relate to. If you think about the fact that in India there are 100 different languages, then you can superimpose, even though we've used English here, we could superimpose a whole lot of language, not by bringing people to the studio, but just by getting them to record a script in their language and embedding it in here. What they're looking at is what are they going to plant, and the SOI is coming down, what's the soil moisture and the like. And in the project that we've got proposed to the World Met Office is that we use machinima as a stimulus for the extension officers that work in India in a big network. And we also use the 5th generation repository to record answers to questions that various farmers might ask about the moisture in soil, the prediction, which crop, what are the issues, and that can be run from a database. So you're never going to have enough extension officers to go around and change behaviour, but using the technology, we might be able to do that. But I think you get the idea. It's using technology in a thoughtful way and building new tools. It's not just waiting for YouTube or something like that. It's the university trying to create new tools that our staff can use for different types of blended learning. The final example of our work I want to highlight for you is in a project that we're doing with the University of Cambridge in England, which is funded by JISC. And in the chemistry area, this is a PhD project where the research data is collected. And typically in an academic world, the PhD data goes on paper or disappears somewhere. It's not accessible for anyone. So what we're trying to do is tag the data, store it in a repository so that it can be mined by other academics, can be used in the future. And so what we've got here is not a paper version of data, but live data. We've got projects here where we're trying to get new PhD students to do this, not just in chemistry or science, but in a whole range of other. So it's a very simple example, but once researchers have access to this data, they can actually change the variables and change the molecular structure and mine the information that's been collected in one experiment for a PhD to contribute to future research in that way. Now, if you think about how academic institutions work now, most PhD data sets disappear somewhere. I mean, they exist somewhere, but it's very difficult to get at them. So one of the plans that we have here is, again, to build networks, discipline networks, where we tag and store live data and be able to lift it out of a PhD project and make it generally more accessible. And that, again, opens up huge possibilities for further research, but also for different types of blended learning. And all of these projects were using the design-based research approach. So we're working with practitioners, with students, with academics, and saying, what do you want? What's the theoretical basis for what you're trying to do here? What can we do? We try and build a solution that we then evaluate and adapt so that everybody gets a successful outcome. And the challenge that I've put out to institutions that embark on blended learning is, why not have a project like this for every course that you teach in a blended mode? Then you might get a publication, you get more access, you get more debate. It's a simple enough research methodology and can get teams of people working together really well. So that, again, could be a policy. If we have blended learning, we support it, then what we expect is a small research project on that pedagogy in that context that will help us move forward.